Welcome to this edition of Trading Bits and Bytes. I'm Susan Littlefield, and we are in Kansas City as the National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention is underway. Joining us today is Arlan Suderman from FC Stone. And really to start out, Arlan, as we look at these markets, China has been in the news once again. And during the Fontenelle Final Bell, we were talking about a little bit of media ploy maybe going on within these discussions.
Yeah, and I think a great example goes back before China came to Washington for the face-to-face talks. They said, we're only going to talk about ag commodities, and they ended up talking about everything. Both sides use the media effectively to try to get leverage for their final details. And does that mean that we're going to have a trade agreement? No, things can fall apart. But I still think we're moving forward and moving towards some type of deal. Both sides have incentive to get some type of pause in this escalation.
At what point do we see the markets react or not react now? They're just going to wait for things to finally come through.
I think there's an amount of skepticism that they're just going to trade these trading ranges, and when we get down by support, then you find the buying start to come in. We are vulnerable if it looks like it's going to fall apart. We could collapse because the funds have really been going away from their short positions on that cautious optimism. They could put those back on if it does fall apart, but I think there's also some buying opportunity that they see if, in fact, there is an agreement and the details are to their liking.
This weekly crop progress report didn't move along as fast as some had hoped.
No, it's just been it's been a tough year. A lot of farmers will be so glad to get 2019 behind them and hope 2020 is better. North Dakota sitting there 15% harvested. I really feel for them on the corn, trying to get it out and trying to get the rest of the beans out as well. But much of the Midwest, virtually every state, kind of behind normal on the harvest.
What are we seeing when it comes to ethanol production and trying to keep these plants from being dark?
We are bringing it back up seasonally. I wish we were at a higher level. We are moving in the right direction, but at a lower level than we need. Right now we're grinding mostly old crop corn yet. As I think we get in some of this new crop corn, we're going to find that it doesn't quite have the energy content that we'd like to have, particularly where the test weights are low. That's going to hurt margins a little bit more, but also require more bushels to go in to get the desired ethanol.
Producers, as they look to market this new crop corn, what are some things that they need to be looking at, knowing China, USMCA hasn't been taking place?
Well, first of all, look at basis. Look at your local basis. And some of these places with processors, you can just make an offer and you'll be surprised at what they'll take. So if you can really grab some strong basis, maybe you should consider doing that and keep the future side of it open. And there are tools that you can do that, and many places have those tools. And they can work with us to provide those tools. But the basis is strong, and a lot of times if you're a cash marketer, you want to respond to those basis signals, and you can still keep the future side of it open.
Cattle, are we going to continue to see some optimism in that trade, and obviously banking on maybe some decent grain prices?
It's not going to go straight up, but overall I like the fundamentals in the cattle industry. We did see carcass weights come up a little bit in the last week or so, which is a little bit of a red flag in light of the Tyson fire, but overall we've done a good job of staying current. We're seeing good product demand, good fundamentals, domestic demand and export demand. I like the fundamentals underneath this cattle market.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Arlan.
Thank you.
Arlan Suderman's been joining us for this week's edition of Trading Bits and Bytes. I'm Susan Littlefield in Kansas City.